Hey mamas, it's your girl Carrie, and welcome back to another episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Today we're talking about something that can feel really uncomfortable for a lot of us working moms, advocating for yourself at work. And if you're anything like me, you probably have no problem advocating for other people, especially your kids. When it comes to your kids, if something doesn't feel right, you speak up, you call the school, you talk to teachers, you'll fight for accommodations. But when it comes for asking for what you need, we suddenly get nervous. We don't want to seem difficult. We don't want anyone questioning our work, the hours we're putting in. We don't want to seem ungrateful or distracted or that we're not committed to putting in quality work, especially in today's job market. So we end up staying quiet. We end up carrying way more than we should. Now, this topic has been hitting especially close to home lately because life has been very busy. Although I don't like using the word busy, I like to say full. And if you've been listening for a while, you know all the things that are happening in my life. But if you're new to the podcast, I'm in this jam-packed season of motherhood with so many beautiful things happening at the same time. Between Ashley had 2 proms, Kaylee, Sweet 16, graduation season, college orientation. I took a mother-daughter trip with Ashley, doing this podcast, and then my very full-time corporate job. You could say I have a lot of things going on. And recently I was reminded about just how important it is to communicate what you need instead of expecting other people to somehow figure it out. So today I'm sharing practical tips to help you advocate for yourself at work with confidence. But before we jump in, if setting boundaries at work is something that you struggle with, I want you to grab my Boundaries Made Simple guide because advocating for yourself at work and setting boundaries, they absolutely go hand in hand. So you can grab your copy. The link is in the show notes. All right, mamas, let's jump into today's episode. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work, time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, a mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being so intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. I think one of the biggest misconceptions working moms have is that advocating for yourself at work is asking for special treatment. And I want you to know that it doesn't. Advocating for yourself simply means that you're communicating what you need so that you can continue doing your job well without completely burning yourself out. And honestly, I've had a real life reminder of this the past few weeks. As many of you know, Ashley's prom was 2 weeks ago. And I was hosting a pre-prom party. It was a little one, but it was enough people that I really needed to prep for it. And then right after prom, Ashley and I left for a mother-daughter trip to the Dominican Republic. And this was literally, she went to prom, came home, slept, we left. And at that exact same time, work was just insanely busy. There was this huge project with big deadlines, and then a fire drill, as we call it in the corporate world, came up, which basically means something blows up and you need to focus all your attention on fixing that thing. But in my role, you can't not focus on other things that are going on. So I had to do both of those things while also handling my business as usual things. And I needed to log off early that day to get my house prom ready and to pack for our trip because I hadn't packed yet because work was a crazy week and had other things going on. And we were leaving for DR at 6 a.m. the next morning. But here's what made all the difference. I communicated early. My manager knew what was coming up in my life. Leadership knew what was coming up. I had told them weeks ahead of time what I had going on and when I would really need flexibility. And because of that, when things got really hectic, they were able to support me. They jumped in and it allowed me to log off when I needed to. It allowed me to put my laptop away and be fully present for prom and our mother-daughter trip without thinking about work at all. And I was so beyond grateful. And that brings us to tip number 1, communicate early. One of the biggest mistakes we make is waiting until we're completely overwhelmed before we speak up. We wait until we're drowning. We wait until we're frustrated. We wait until we're exhausted. And worse, sometimes we wait until we're physically sick. Instead, communicate early. The sooner people know what's coming up, the more options everyone has. I didn't wait until the week of prom to tell my team I had a lot going on. I communicated weeks in advance, and not just to my manager, but to my peers and my team as well. I told them that pretty much all of June was going to be an extremely busy month for me, that I had to take time off for orientation, Kaylee's birthday, prom, my mother-daughter trip, graduation. And I had all of those dates on the calendar well in advance. And I made sure to remind everyone when things were coming up with deliverable dates, how I needed to be flexible. And because of that, there were no surprises. And when I needed to log off or take a PTO day, I didn't have a problem doing so. So remember, people can't support what they don't know. Number 2, get clear on what you actually need. Sometimes we say we're overwhelmed, but we really haven't identified why. So ask yourself, what specifically isn't working? Do you need more flexibility, clearer priorities, fewer meetings, help with the workload, protected focus time? The clearer you are, the easier it is for someone to actually help, because I'm overwhelmed isn't actionable, but I need clarity on priorities absolutely is. Number 3, and this is a big one, bring solutions, not just problems. One thing that I've learned over 24 years in the corporate world is that leaders appreciate solutions. So instead of saying I'm overwhelmed, try, I want to make sure I'm focusing on the right priorities. Can we align on my top priorities for this week? Instead of, I don't have enough time, try, I think blocking an hour of focused work each day would help me stay ahead of my deliverables. When you pair a challenge with a potential solution, the conversation becomes so much more productive. And I try to stress this with my team too. If you don't tell me what you need or what is overwhelming, if I don't have visibility to all the things on your plate that you're trying to juggle, then I can't help you. So help me help you. And this is also true for problems that come up at work. When you do escalate them to your manager, to your leadership, provide your recommendation for a solution if you have one. I love it when people come to me with a potential solution because it makes my job so much easier. Number 4, stop assuming the worst. Can we talk about the stories that we make up in our heads? Because I think so many moms avoid advocating for themselves because they're afraid of what might happen. What if they think we're not committed? What if they judge me? What if this hurts my career? And while every workplace is different, most managers really appreciate communication. Most leaders appreciate clarity. Most people would rather know what's going on than totally be surprised later. So don't let fear make decisions for you. And I love the quote, faith over fear. In a previous role, I had a manager that would constantly give me and my coworker a ton more work than our peers. And it was because she knew that if she gave it to us, we would get the job done and she wouldn't have to worry, which I totally get. And while I appreciated her confidence in me, it was seriously burning me out big time. But I never wanted to speak up because I'm a team player and there were a lot of changes going on and I didn't want to be perceived as difficult. And there were so many times I just wanted to say something, but I bit my tongue. But I was getting so burnt out that it literally started to affect my body. And I got this really bad pinched nerve in my back. And I couldn't even sit up straight. I had to literally work from my bed propped up on pillows. And then one day I was on a call with her and I came to my breaking point and I literally said out loud, I'm going to speak my truth. And I just let it all out in a very respectful and professional way, of course. And honestly, that was really such a turning point for me. From that day forward, I've never stayed quiet. I have spoken up for myself, for my needs, and it's honestly helped my career and my work-life balance, or life-work balance as one of our listeners calls it. And I love that so much better because life should always come first. And it seriously helped with my mental health too. Keeping things bottled up is not helpful for anyone. So I encourage you to speak your truth too. Number 5, build trust through consistency. Now, I want to acknowledge something really important. Part of the reason my manager was so supportive this past month, and honestly, since I've started speaking my truth, is because trust has already been built. Trust doesn't happen overnight. Trust comes from consistency, from follow through, from doing good work, from taking ownership, from being reliable. When people know you show up and deliver, conversations about flexibility become so much easier because they know you're not trying to avoid responsibility. You're trying to manage it effectively. So I challenge you to take a step back and ask yourself, have you proven yourself to be reliable, to produce good results consistently? Are you a team player? Do you take ownership of things? And if you don't, start taking steps to build that trust and the flexibility will come, I promise you. Number 6, boundaries and high performance can coexist. This is probably the biggest lesson that I want you to take away from today. You do not have to choose between being successful and having boundaries. You can absolutely have both. When Ashley and I left for DR, I did not bring my work laptop. I didn't check emails. I didn't answer messages. And honestly, it was one of the best things I could have done because I was fully present. I enjoyed the trip. We made the memories. And I trusted that work would be there when I got back. And guess what? It was. The world didn't fall apart. No one called. No one texted. No one needed me because I had prepared. I communicated. I set those expectations. And my manager was fully supportive. And that's what healthy boundaries look like. Not abandoning your responsibilities, but managing them in a way that allows you to enjoy your life too. Number 7, start small. If advocating for yourself feels uncomfortable, start small. Push back on one meeting. Ask one question. Clarify one priority. Communicate one need. Confidence is built through action, not before it. Every conversation you have makes the next one easier. I promise you, speaking up has become a knee-jerk reaction for me. As soon as something doesn't feel right for me, I voice it. One of the things this season of life is totally teaching me is just how quickly it all goes. I feel like it was just yesterday that I was holding Ashley as a newborn, dancing around our living room, and I'm dropping her off for college in a few weeks. The moments we think we have forever to enjoy fly by in a blink of an eye. And I'm proud of the work that I do, but I know the moments outside of work matter more. The emails, they'll always be there. The work will always be there. The meetings will always be there. But these memories, they won't. And advocating for yourself isn't about choosing your family over your career. It's about making sure you don't accidentally sacrifice your family for your career, because you deserve both. You deserve a career you're proud of and a life you're present for. So I want you to take this time this week and I want you to ask yourself, what is one thing I need right now that I haven't communicated? And then challenge yourself to have that conversation. And if this episode resonated with you, send it to another working mom who needs that reminder too, because I promise you, she's probably carrying more than she needs right now too. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.